Welcome into the roundtable. I'm Brad Wakai. That is Tyson Gentry. We are previewing Super Wildcard Weekend, baby. A lot to discuss here. We are finally at the playoffs. Week 18 was crazy. Week 18 was profitable for us in multiple ways. But we're turning the page on the regular season. We're getting right in the Super Wildcard Weekend, and we have ranked these games by watchability. Yes, it's not a word. It's our word on this podcast right now. Watchability rankings for each of these games, and we'll break down each of them as we go through. I'm excited, Tyson. Last year was amazing. I hope this year is just as good.
Bro, the NFL needs like a new, I don't know if it'd be like a communications manager or whatever, but you can't just put the word super in front of everything and like just expect it to be fine. Like, it's a super wild card weekend. It's like,
Yeah,
call it what it is, dude. It's just wild card weekend. Like, nothing changed. All you did was add an extra shitty team from each side. Like,
let's go.
and that made it better. It's just, I mean, I'm pumped. Like, this is the time where if you're a Seahawks fan, you're talking yourselves into them being able to beat the Niners or whatever. But you can see by the hat, Brad and I are totally sweating this weekend. We'll be pretty sweaty here next Tuesday, Thursday, I imagine.
It's gonna be nice. Kick our feet up. We don't have to worry about our team, Tyson. We just gonna sit back, watch these teams kill each other, and then we come back out and we're like, all right, boys, let's go.
By the way, what you alluded to at the beginning was like the Bears having the worst record in the league, which if you've listened to our preseason shows, you could have been sweating with us. But I don't know if I'm playing a worst record ticket again, man, because I was like 18 weeks of this stuff. I was like, oh, my God.
Well, to be fair, we thought it was dead. Like, we're just like, you know, this thing's dead. And then it was like, dude, we got a legit shot to hit this thing. We see the Texans to go full Texans.
When they said Nathan Peterman's playing, it was like preordained. It was like, oh, God.
Here we go. All right, we got one leg down. Okay, let's get into it, man. Watchability rankings. Yes, it's a word on this podcast. Maybe Merriam-Webster doesn't recognize it. We do.
He's a fucking nerd.
We've gone and ranked all 6 of these games, which we think you need to not miss. It's the number 1 game, you can't miss this one. Let's start right here. First one overall, Bucs, Cowboys. Monday Night Football, the last game and Super Wildcard Weekend, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. This is a big game. It's a really big game. Brady has never lost to the Cowboys. What are you thinking for this one? Like, what are you seeing matchup-wise? Cowboys have not played well recently.
No, they're scooting backwards into this thing pretty heavily. I do think that the narrative that, like, they're a turf team, they just play slower on grass, is an easy way for people to say, hey, the Cowboys aren't engaged all the time. And, like, it just so happened to work out. Like, when they're at home, they're locked in and they score a bunch of points. And then on the road, or they have a different opponent and they're not totally into it, they look slow, and then we decided that's because they're on grass. I think it's because they don't give a shit all the time. The Buccaneers, man, I so badly want to be on this ride with everybody else, because everybody right now is like, well, the Bucs are, the Bucs are beating the boys. They got to. It's Tom Brady. It's the playoffs. I swore them off about week 6, and I just can't go back. Like, they can't run the ball. One thing that I think is going to be huge is Dallas's pass rush. 4th most sacks in the league, pretty good. Tom Brady gets rid of the ball in 2.3 seconds this season. I think it's the fastest of his career. So the Bucs offensive line is bad, but we haven't had to see like truly how bad they are at pass protection because he's getting the ball out so quick. Does that play into the Buccaneers' favor, or is Dan Quinn just going to walk up to the line of scrimmage and say, like, Mike Evans isn't getting off the line and beating one? Is he not beating Diggs in 2 seconds for Tom Brady to get this thing off? That's something I'm interested in, but this is narrative here. This is Tom Brady versus America's team. This is going to be all eyeballs on, brother.
Yes, absolutely. And it's Buck and Aikman. Like, this is going to be fucking awesome, dude. Like, this is a big game. I can't wait for this. Like, this is number 1. You can't miss this one. Matchup-wise, the Cowboys secondary is not good. Like, they just got shredded up by Sam Howell in his first NFL start.
Brady for like 170 yards.
Dude, they got shredded. I watched way too much of that game. Like, they got shredded up. Like, it was bad. Brady's found the chemistry with Mike Evans all of a sudden. This is a dangerous Tampa team. Like, everybody, like, you wrote him off. I'm the idiot. Like when you stick to your blackball list or when you put one together, you stick to it. I don't. Like I come off of that thing. I'm an idiot. Like I think I need to change that for next year. But I think this is helping me ease into the Tampa thing. Like I already bet them +3, and we'll get into our betting stuff way later in this week on Thursday. So this isn't a betting conversation, but I think they're going to win this game. They match up extremely well against the Cowboys. Like they're good at stopping in the run. The Bucs are. Now, Vita Vea may not be 100% for this game, but Akeem Hicks is back. He's an elite run stopper. They're getting a lot healthier, while I think Dallas is regressing. Dak Prescott has not played well recently. Like he leads the league in interceptions. Like awful.
And he played 12 games. He's the first player to miss 5 or more games and lead the league in interceptions, like since they've tracked the stat or something.
It's so bad. And I expect Tampa to come in, put together a game plan, and figure something out in the playoffs. And Brady's going to do just enough in a game that's going to be super tight where the Bucs win this one.
I do look forward to the annual people remember how good Chris Godwin is. Seems like it only happens in the playoffs. Just finished with 105 catches after tearing his ACL. It took a couple weeks to get up to speed. But we want to pretend it's Terry McLaurin is the most underrated receiver in the league. But if everybody's saying it, then it's not true. So I'm excited for a big Chris Godwin game. I just like Tampa has a really, really good cornerback duo, and the three of them, when they're all healthy, amongst the top in the league. And I think that's going to be huge because we're 18 weeks into people being like, well, this guy's going to be the number 2 for the Cowboys. It was supposed to be Jalen Tolbert when Michael Gallup was hurt at the beginning of the year. He's a healthy scratch. He's not even playing. It was supposed to be Michael Gallup, and then he still looks like Michael Gallup. He's a good player, but he's a 3. You can't force him into the 2. Dalton Schultz, a good player. But if it's Dalton Schultz, CeeDee Lamb, and Tony Pollard is really it's just CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard as your sources of explosive plays, the way Tampa wants to play, that could be a problem.
I like the Bucs a lot in this one. I may be a sucker, but hey, I took them off my blackball list, even though they're still on there. I'm riding with them here.
How'd that work for you a week ago, though? Didn't you take them off at week 18?
I took them off like a week 12, then I put them back on, then I took them off. Like, there's no consistency to that blackball list this year. This is number 1, baby. I can't wait for this game. Bucs pull off the upset at home, win this game, and the Cowboys fans are once again left crying because that's what they do.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Number 2 on our watchability list here, and some people may be shocked by this. Like, what? Are you serious? Over these other games? Here's why, Tyson. This game, when they played earlier in the season, was a banger. Like, it came down to a last-second field goal. Now you add in the pressure of playoff matchups. Dayball's first as a head coach. Kevin O'Connell's first as a head coach. Daniel Jones first in the playoffs. The Giants haven't been here in a long time. People think the Vikings suck. Like, and now they get to host a playoff game with all eyes watching them at 4:30 on Fox on the Sunday. Primetime Kirk Cousins. Like, I'm very, very much intrigued for this one.
And one of the reasons I'm looking forward to this is maybe a little bit off the wall, but like the narrative is Kirk Cousins doesn't do well under pressure, but he shredded the Giants when Wink brought the blitz. Wink's not going to not bring the blitz. That's what Wink Martindale does. Like, he's going to blitz you. He's going to try to make you uncomfortable. But he's had a lot of time now to think about, like, everyone else in the league was able to do it to Kirk, speed him up, make the processing, go a little quicker. We've seen him make some pretty massive mental mistakes over the years with that. And Kayvon Thibodeau just looks different than he did when they played the first, like, was even out on the field the first time they played? I can't remember how long his injury stretched into the beginning of the season. But, like, we got just under the radar superstars outside of Justin Jefferson and Saquon Barkley. Like, there's a lot of guys that are having really good years that are going to kind of sway this thing. And I think, weirdly enough, Patrick Peterson's going to have to play a pretty perfect game because Daniel Jones and the Giants put up like 450 total yards the first time these two teams played. And I just think the Giants kind of got something rolling. I'm excited for playoff Saquon, baby.
I think the Giants have some momentum going, and I think Dayball played week 18 perfectly with his backups. Like, they still came to compete. Like, just because the backups were in didn't mean that the Giants weren't trying to beat the Eagles. Now, it didn't look pretty. Like, you had Davis Webb starting, but they competed in that game. My concern here is, from the Giants' perspective, is the lack of elite talent on the perimeter may come back to to bite him here. And I know Daniel Jones shredded him up in the first matchup, but I don't know, man. The playoffs.
No
is
love
a
for
whole
Richie
different animal.
James, brother.
No love for Richie James, Bellinger, the tight end. I guess is Kenny Galladay off the scrap heap after he caught a touchdown? Like I don't know.
But do you see that they put it out there? He only finished 74 catches short of his $1.5 million incentive this year.
Oh, he was
so
close.
It was a good year. Good year for Kenny Galladay.
Hey, good for him. Good for him. I don't know. I like the Vikings in this matchup. I know everybody hates them, and everybody's like, Giants are going to win this game because the Vikings suck. Like, it just feels like everybody's way too high on the Giants in this situation. So I may be a little contrarian here and pick the Vikings. Like, the Vikings got to rest their starters halfway through that game. I know the Giants, rested theirs the entire game, but they were still in a groove. They still got a little bit of playing time for their guys. And I think they're going to be able to attack this Giants defense. We saw it the first time. I expect it again. I like the Giants to win, or the Vikings to win this one.
Dalvin Cook looks like he might have lost a step, and every time I said that about him, he's come back and put up, 150 yards and a couple touchdowns. But the defensive line in New York is crazy. Like it's a bunch of guys that don't want you to run the football, and I think that's where the game's going to be won. But like you said, man, this thing opened at I think it was flat 3. It's down to 2.5. We're going to get more public money in now that it's the playoffs and people, there's less games to bet on. So you're concentrated into these 6. Everybody hates the Vikings. And if this thing moves another inch, man, you're in the green light zone, baby. You got to take Minnesota.
Absolutely. My dream would it be to take the Giants here at 2.5 and just hope it gets up to 3.5 and try to middle. That'd be amazing. But I don't think that's going to happen for us. Yeah, big field. Exactly. 3 on our list. Now, this is most intriguing, I think, from a narrative standpoint, or maybe not, because we already talked about the Cowboys and Tom Brady. But Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence, both the first time they've been into the playoffs, and now they're facing each other. Supposed to the next guys, right? Like this is the new guard taking over potentially for the old guard. Doug Peterson, the established head coach. Brandon Staley, who the hell knows what he's thinking at all times. The Chargers, supposed to be here a long time ago. And the Jaguars, this upstart team. Man, oh man. This is a banger. Both teams have deficiencies. Both teams can exploit the other's weaknesses. Chargers should be able to have their way with the Jags defense. The Jags should be able to have their way with the Chargers defense. Like this could be fireworks show here. And it's taking place Saturday night at 8:15 Eastern on NBC.
I can't get over the fact that Staley played starters in a game that you were losing to a bad team and might cost you Mike Williams. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense in my brain. If this dude loses this game, like we just did the offseason preview, there might as well be another head coach opening because that was borderline brain dead, what the Chargers were doing on Sunday. I've never seen something like that. All 6 of these games are rematches from either divisional opponents like you have in the Seahawks, Niners, or guys that had one-offs during the year. Jaguars were able to beat the Chargers. There was no Keenan Allen in that game. Does that make kind of the tables turn in the Chargers' favor here? But if there's no Mike Williams, really, does that even out? Like, are we back to square one with these two guys? I think that this is going to be Doug Peterson special. And what I mean by that is I think Doug Peterson's going to come out and he's going to coach the shit out of this football game. And you might not know it till you see it, but when you see a Doug Peterson coach football game, you're well aware of what you are watching. It looks different. He wants to control the clock. He's going to hit you. He's going to go for 4th and 1. There's going to be so many 4th downs went for in this game, dude. Move this up. This is number 1 now. I just thought about it. There's no punts. It doesn't even matter. Like, they're not punting these two. Are you kidding me? There's no field goals kicks. It's 4th and goal, 4th or whatever. They're going for it. But like talent-wise, it should be the Chargers. But we've been saying that for 18 weeks. Coaching-wise, I think Jacksonville has a significant advantage.
I agree with that. Brandon Staley might go from his own 15. Like he just is going to get battled. Yeah, 4th and goal from his own 15. Oh, man. Okay. I want to believe in the Jags, and I agree with you.
I don't even know if they're going to win. I just think that they're going to be they're going to be better prepared.
They probably are going to be, but I think Justin Herbert's better than Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that's crazy to say at this point in time. And I think Mike Williams, all reports are that he's going to play, that he's fine. X-rays are negative on his back. he's been banged up his whole career, man. He knows how to play banged up. I still like the Chargers skill position players better than the Jags. I know the Jags skill position players have had a good season this year, but I'm going to roll with the establishment over there in LA. It's getting it's a little nerve-wracking. I'm not sure if that's going to be an official thing so far. I'm just leaning Chargers on the win right now. But that just seems crazy. And I'm betting on Brandon Staley on the road and the Chargers team that comes up small since basically their entire existence.
And I do want to say whoever wins this game, there'll be unlimited articles out there about how they're next up in the AFC as far as these quarterbacks go. And they're going to completely ignore Mahomes is 27, Allen's 26, Burrow's 25, Lamar's 25. Like, no, you just caught up to the party. You're not next up, brother.
Right, exactly. Okay, speaking of Lamar Jackson, there's question marks. Is he going to play in this one? If not, Tyler Huntley, my boy, is going to be the starter here. And we put this for because it's a divisional game. My boy, Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. We put this at 4 just because it's a divisional game. And if Lamar Jackson plays, this is clearly slotted in correctly here. And I think the other two after this are going to be much worse. But they just played. Like, we just saw this week 18. Like, it's kind of shitty, that we have to see it again, but it's still going to be an awesome AFC North game, and I'm excited for it. I think the Bengals are pissed off, clearly. I mean, they've been talking about feeling they got screwed by the NFL and the reformatting of the AFC. I think they want to make a statement here, and I think they're going to come out strong.
The Ravens' defense has played the Bengals better than anybody this season. They actually have like a negative expected points per play on dropbacks against the Ravens compared to everybody else when Burrow's just slinging the shit out of the football. There's nothing you can do. Familiarity, all that stuff. It's a divisional game. This is one where, and I don't like touching spreads in the playoff anyways, but when we get divisional games, third time's the charm, baby. Anything can happen. To me, it's just like the Bengals are just better. Like, they're better all 3 phases of football. So it shouldn't be close, but we just saw that it kind of was. And the first time they played, it really was. And so you never know. Lamar Jackson's not going to play, dude. If we don't know by now, he's not playing. That's just the way it is.
Well, the Ravens are going to be better coached than the Bengals, you would assume, right? Like, I think Jim Harbaugh is a better coach.
Who knows, though, dude? Playoff Zach Taylor's a different animal. All of a sudden, he figured it out a year ago.
True. Yeah, Zach Taylor. Yeah, he's the next Belichick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree. I mean, the Ravens defense, they know how to play this Bengals offense. Like, it's a divisional opponent. Like, that's why. They've faced this quarterback multiple times. They faced this offense multiple times. With Huntley, it's clearly going to give you a better shot than Anthony Brown. Like, that was a joke what they ran out last week. Like, that was disgusting. And Tyler Huntley, no, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's going to give them a better opportunity to win, potentially enough to keep it close. But I'm with you, man. The Bengals are just too good. Like, the defense, Lou Anarumo is an awesome defensive coach. Like, he's going to be able to limit what Tyler Huntley and the lack of weapons on the perimeter can do to their defense. So I like the Bengals to get this done at home and start their quest for AFC champ repeats.
It's just funny that the spread doesn't get set at the same line, and they played a week ago, and then now it's like, oh, it's a half-point difference. Like, fucking how? It's the same team.
I know. Well, because my boy Huntley's playing.
Yeah, that's true. Tyler Huntley's so good that he's worth half a point on the line.
Well, Justin Fields is worth 2 points to him and Nathan Peterman. So. Okay, another divisional game. Seahawks at Niners. Now, I think, what is it? The Niners won 7 games or 8 games by 17 plus in a row.
Yeah,
like, it's something ridiculous. Like, they're on an absolute tear right now, and they've dominated the Seahawks in their 2 matchups this season. I think everybody would be maybe jumping the gun a little bit too fast to say this is going to be another blowout. Like, Shanahan gets super conservative in the playoffs. We know Pete Carroll's a conservative coach. Like, he'll kick field goals all day. Like, he ain't going for it down there on the end zone. Like, screw that. I'm taking the points. This could be a rock fight, Tyson. A divisional matchup between coaches who have played against each other multiple times with pretty much the same rosters here. I expect the Niners to win, clearly. Like, they have a way better roster than the Seahawks. But, again, weird things happen in divisional games, and then you add the pressure of the playoffs, and we know what Shanahan does when it gets to nut-cutting time.
Yeah, and that's kind of the real hang-up here. it is kind of going to be a rock fight, but if it's going to be a rock fight, this is David versus Goliath. But if Goliath had a gun, like that's how this thing might shake out. If we're gonna go to a rock fight, I think the Niners are the last team you want to see walking down the alley. And I do expect that's what this thing is going to turn into. And kind of for me, if I'm a Niners fan, you know what I'm honestly hoping is that I hope this game's close. Because I hope we have to get scared before we go play Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game if that's the way it shakes out. Like, we have to go on the road after killing people for 10 weeks in a row. You have to – Kyle Shanahan poops down his leg when there's close games. He hasn't had to do that, and I'm a big Shanny guy. But that's just – I'm a big guy in general. That's just how I feel. I think they have to – like, they got to get something out of their system because I don't know if Brock Purdy can win close. I don't know if he's going to have to. In this game, the Seahawks have the skill position players to keep it close if everybody plays well. Pete Carroll's a great head coach. It'll be interesting, I guess, if he's able to pull this off. Like, where do we talk about Pete now? Because it's like never missed playoffs back-to-back years. They're supposed to suck, and he goes out and beats the number 3 favorite to win the Super Bowl right now on FanDuel. I just don't think that's going to happen. Like, this is – if you want to get into a physical – contest, the Niners are probably not the team you want to do it against.
Yeah, especially, I mean, Geno Smith, man, he gets flustered by this Niners defense. And I guess that's not necessarily fair to say, just be like, Geno gets flustered by this defense. Everybody does. Like, this is a beast of a defense. And Pete Carroll wants to run the ball. Like, he wants to run it with Kenneth Walker. That's going to cut down on, I think, the number of possessions overall the Seahawks have. And I don't know if that's what you want to do against this Niners defense, especially when this offense is rolling like it has been. Now, Deebo Samuel's coming back. The Seahawks are pretty banged up on defense. Like, they kind of limped here and kind of, got lucky. I don't want to say that, like, because they did win those games to get them here, beating the Lions. That proved to be the decider. But this team is not very healthy right now. And the only thing I'm banking on here is the divisional knowledge to keep this game in arm's length so this thing just isn't a complete blowout. It is Saturday, 4:30 on Fox, so if you have something better to do, hey, we ranked at 5 for a reason here, man. Like, if you got something that you got to do on Sunday or on Saturday, hey, this might be the game that you can miss here at 5.
I mean, I think I might be watching this from a golf simulator somewhere.
Yeah, good for you. Dolphins Bills. Now this is number 6, and it's kind of for good reason. Like, another divisional game, but here's the difference. Really, is it Skylar Thompson versus this Bills team? Is it the hot Miami team? And I mean, like, heat hot, like them down in humidity, going into Buffalo where it's freezing cold and horrible weather. Like, that's a bad matchup for the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill's ankle's done. Like, he has nothing left. Jalen Waddle got banged up. Like, this offensive line's hurt. And then you have the Bills, who are playing for a inspired higher purpose than themselves right now. The great news of DeMar Hamlin, him coming back and FaceTiming. Like, this team's on a mission, man. And if they got to fucking slaughter the Dolphins, they're going to rip them apart. And they don't care how they do it. Like, they are motivated and ready to rock right now. I think this thing could be ugly.
Skylar Thompson, Teddy Bridgewater, shit, it could be Tua. It doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't. Like, the team that everybody else tried to talk themselves into with the Miami Dolphins through week 8 was never that football team. That was just like, we have no tape on this offense. This is brand new, right? We've never – and, it's a 49ers offense. Yeah, if you added fucking Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, like, that's way different. That's not even close. So the way they were playing took people a minute to catch up to, and then it was like, this isn't actually that difficult to stop. Like, we just got to play over the top and take away the middle, and they can't do anything. Raheem Mostert looks like he found like a second act of his career. He's looked really good.
But he's banged up too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like Salvin Ahmed. Like, he's going to be getting legitimate carries in this game. I think Buffalo's probably going to roll. What the hell can Miami do to the Buffalo Bills?
I don't know. And that's what we're going to find out. I think Teddy's going to find a way to try to play this game. Which, two-glove Teddy with his dislocated pinky up there in freezing cold weather, like, how's that going to go? This may be a sleepwalker for the Bills. I don't expect Tua to play at all. Like, I think he's done for the year, even without the whispers. But This is definitely, I mean, so this is Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Poor CBS, man. NBC gets 2 games, Fox gets 2 games, and CBS is picking up the scraps with this one. This is what they get.
I'm pumped about it, though,
guys.
dude. How many shitty sitcom names do I have to sit through during commercial breaks to get back to the football?
And how, dude, Tony sucks now. Tony Romo sucks.
I can't believe that, man. Like, he's just, why is he always got to be talking? Like, at some point, Tony, let it breathe. Naeem Hine runs back a touchdown. It's fate. It's fate. It's like, let the moment sit. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, you know what he is? He's a power hitter that got paid in baseball.
Yeah.
That's it. Done, dude.
He's Chris Davis, is what you're saying.
He's Chris Davis from the Orioles. That's exactly what he is.
I mean, they'll end up. They got one in the divisional round. I'm pretty sure. I think they get a AFC game that week too. But yeah, I don't know.
They'll get a divisional.
They're. I think Jim Nance is just like looking around, like, dude, I just want to do golf. This is too much.
Oh, he's ready, dude. Just give this game to Iron Eagle, like at some point. Like, come on.
Seriously though, like Iron Eagle should be getting more burn.
Well, he's gonna be calling the NCAA tournament soon.
Oh, I mean, he's the best.
He's the best. Okay, that's good. I mean, that's Dolphins Bills. Listen, super wild card weekend. I have to say, because I know it tweaks you out, Tyson, but honestly, like we kind of shit on the last couple games here. They're still extremely interesting.
Yeah, it's the playoffs, man.
It's the playoffs. And last year was awesome. If we can get even like 80% of that, we're going to be like coming back next week and be like, holy shit, that was amazing.
Oh, we're going to get upset or two across the board that's going to blow people's minds. And then Brad and I will be on here Tuesday being like, we told you, but we didn't. We're just going to – no, I'm just kidding. But there will be some interesting things, and there'll be some opportunities maybe for some live bets. And if you want to get in on that with us, it's the Chalkboard app in the App Store in Google Play. The group name in there is the Round Table, and we'll be throwing all of our picks at the wall, just trying to see what sticks. I'm not a huge fan of playing spreads in playoff games, so mine might be pretty boring. But like right now, you look at weekly specials, and you got Naeem Hines to return a kickoff for plus 5,000.
Oh man,
might be worth a sprinkle.
That's going to do it for this early preview of Super Wildcard Weekend. We will be back recording live on Thursday on Twitch and Twitter, giving you our official bets that we are taking this game. Tyson saying he may be potentially boring, but he always has some crazy like plus number, plus money shit. So don't let him fool you. He's got something interesting in there. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, and share the show. We appreciate your support. In the meantime, while you're waiting for these new episodes to come out, share it with your friends. Share it with the people you hate. We don't care. Instagram @ the Roundtable Pod _ TikTok is the same. And our Twitter is @ TRT _ pod. We'll be back live on Thursday, recorded coming out Friday. Until then, guys, peace.